Today is June 30th, 2014. The first phase of the Great Salt Pond Habitat project has been completed. We're looking down at the dike on the far right that leads out to Big Neck. Here we see that the canal that allows water to flow through the high end of the Great Salt Pond has been completed. The constant water level in the bottom of the canal was used to ensure that as the canal was dug, that the bottom of the canal remained the same depth throughout the distance, even though the canal had to be dug at a deeper depth as it got closer to the dike. This is looking at the canal from the other end, near its terminus. Again, we are out in the middle of the Great Salt Pond. One of the things to notice here, as I'll zoom up, is that the canal is located some distance from the bank. Therefore, none of the fishing flats where people like to sight cast have been disturbed. Here's the terminus of the canal. It's about 3 feet deeper than the bed of the canal of the Great Salt Pond itself. And this is on purpose. It will allow some sediment to fill in on this canal and still keep the flow. So the idea is because from here down, the bed of the Great Salt Pond is basically flat. The water will flood in immediately and come all the way up to this point. And it allows the water to get into the canal. As we fill the canal, it will flow out the other end, the depth of which will be determined by the number of boards that we have in the water control structure that's in the middle dike. Here we've added some logs to pre-existing logs at the suggestion of some of the fishermen, because if we can add some structure in the Great Salt Pond while it's empty, that's a good thing. This is panning over to the other side. This is where the campsite is located. And just to do a 360 to show you that mostly the bed of the Great Salt Pond remains as it was prior to this project, with the exception of here you can see the beginning of the second phase of the project, and that is up in the spur fields behind the new pasture that was created along Little Neck. And the purpose here is that they are digging a large pit in which the dirt that you saw excavated from the Great Salt Pond can be placed. This is required by the permit given to the trust by the Corps of Engineers. And therefore, what we're doing is taking this dirt out. The dirt that's being removed from the spur fields will be used on roads and other POA projects. This pit will stay open for approximately a year. We're repeating the same process that we did with the shrimp pond. The shrimp pond dirt is buried just to the left of the track hoe you see working here. We're working so that the height of this particular pile of dirt will be approximately 10 feet. That way it will not be readily visible from Little Neck Crossing. This is the view from Little Neck Crossing, specifically actually on the fence line at Little Neck, showing a cluster of trees that's directly behind these trees that the current dirt work is being done. That dirt work will continue to create a line of dirt that's piled up to the left. However, we have advantage this year compared to the shrimp pond in the fact that this pasture is now greened out and that there is a berm that is vegetated at the back side of this particular pasture, which should help immensely in blocking the view. You may be able to see a little bit of yellow movement through the trees. That's the track hoe working. There will be no truck activity on the road here until the middle of next week. So people are welcome to go down to the Great Salt Pond the rest of this week, and on Monday of next week to see the canal if they happen to be on the island. That's all for this week.